Okay. Our next agenda item is a presentation of our investment report. We got Spencer.
I'm not sure what the chiefs were complaining about. This is the largest crowd I've presented to in a very long time. Good evening, Mayor Didball and members of the council. Tonight I bring before you the Treasurer's quarterly investment report for the quarter ending March 31st, 2018. And before I turn the slide, I must apologize for holding this backwards, I guess. Yeah. Anyway, thank you, Terrell. I have a typo on the very top of this next slide. That first market value number for the portfolio is actually $109 million, and the city-held portion of that is $103 million. Our finance department is very deep into budget at this point, and I don't have a lot of proofreaders willing to look at anything other than budget. So the trustee-held portion is $3 million. And this is a 3.6 net increase over last year, or last quarter at this time. And the notable transactions were property tax receipts from the county and other distributions, about $13.2 million. Bridge Street construction is underway. We incurred about $2.5 million so far. Sales tax receipts are $3.4 million, payroll $7.5 million, and flood control projects about $9.6 million. About 17 investments matured or sold, and 12 were purchased. The average yield sold was 1.34%, and the average yield purchased is about 2.4%. And I'm happy to say that I just saw the first bond go through, or I think it's a bond, a corporate bond at over 3%. So things are starting to look up for the first time in my first and second term. So it's nice. The city-held composition, the biggest portion of our holdings are in cash or cash-like investments. As you can see, LAIF in the purple on the right-hand side. Agency bonds, like Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, made up about 14.4% U.S. Treasuries, 11.1% muni and state bonds, 3.2%, and corporate bonds 13.3%. So just under half of our portfolio is in bonds. The rest are cash and cash-like investments, commercial paper, and CDs, making up about 58%. This maturity distribution reflects a conservative portfolio that favors anticipated increase in interest rates and modest economic growth in the coming quarters, as well as large construction-related cash flows, mostly from utilities, flood control, and the 5th Street Bridge project. This is a different slide tonight. It was asked of me last quarter to show of the big $109 million portfolio, how the money is actually being held, where does it belong. And you can see in the blue on the left-hand side that a great deal of this is being held in the utilities funds, and that's including CIP, operating funds, and debt service, or debt bonds. That's about 2/5 of the total holdings. Other holdings that are major would be CIP, would be the non-utility CIP, and flood control agency. Those each make up about 1/5 of the holdings. And the other 20% is the district's general fund, internal service fund, special revenues, trust and agency, and so forth. So as you can see, about 4/5, again reiterating, or about 80% of the portfolio is utilities related, flood control agency, and non-utility CIP. And I mention this just because of the $109 million. This is not, these funds are already directed, already programmed. They're being held for specific purchases, projects, and operations. Are there any questions from the council?
Thank you, Spencer. Have any questions? No? Well, thank you very much for your report.
Just a comment.
Oh, yes.
Great job, Spencer.
Well, thank you, Mayor. Councilman Cardoza.
It looks like everybody's still awake, too.
Oh.
There is that.
Spencer, you're an elected official. Take the heat.
She meant it as a compliment, Spencer.